We are reading fantasy books for a week. Let's see if we actually manage to do it this time around. As a mood reader, it's very hard for me to commit to a genre for an entire week, so we might have to cheat a little bit and read other stuff in between, you know, mood cleanser. But I got a book that I'm very excited about. I actually started reading it on my Kindle, and you will not be surprised by the book because it's one of the most famous fantasy / dystopian books that has ever existed. Reading about the Hunger Games. I started reading it. I'm about 16% in. I also started the movie, and I'm really enjoying it. So I have a whole makeshift tripod situation going on here. That's my headband that I wear when I'm doing my makeup. I just did a super simple makeup. Drinking my iced coffee, gathering my thoughts to tell you about Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Just put on some cute jewelry. This heart necklace, which is kind of fitting. I've been wearing this non-stop. It's from Ana Luisa. I don't know if I still have a discount code. It's just not sponsored. I'll if I find it. And then I got these really chunky earrings from the store called COS. It's kind of like a really yassified H&M. Way more expensive though. I only got 2 things. I have no thoughts. And I have so many too. I finished this book. It's probably, I want to say, one of the best things I have ever read. One of those things where like I didn't realize I was gonna be reading one of my favorite books of all time. A book that was gonna become one of my favorite books of all time. I went into it thinking it was gonna be this like fluffy fantasy standalone romance situation. It wasn't that. I don't know if this is a spoiler because it does say that in the description on Goodreads and some other places, but this is supposed to be a prequel to Alice in Wonderland. So this is essentially a book about the Queen of Hearts for, you know, the whole Alice in Wonderland storyline took place. This book is heartbreaking, but it's so beautifully written. I will be recommending this book to every single person I meet. This book made me cry. So to this day, this is probably the only book that has actually made me cry. Twice. Like, I cried in 2 different points of the book. It was just heartbreaking in a beautiful way, but heartbreaking nonetheless. It just left me. I had to gather my thoughts before jumping in and telling you guys about it. So now picking up another book is gonna be hard. You know, when you love a book this much, the transition is gonna be kind of tough. I can either, this is really dusty, go ahead and finish this book. This is King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. Lauren Sidney recommended this book on her Instagram, and I've been kind of interested. Reading it, I'm like over halfway, so I could technically finish this, make my life easier, or I could start this book, which I'm really curious about. This series is called Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I'm still kind of deciding. I don't want whatever I'm gonna read next to put me in a reading slump, so maybe I'll leave finishing this book for last and I might start this one, because I already know I like this one, but there's a reason why I stopped reading it, so it didn't keep me hooked. I need something that's gonna keep me hooked, so I'm gonna try to read this one and just kind of go from there. I don't think anything's gonna top this. Good morning. My coffee, it's looking extra good today. After finishing Heartless, I just don't know what's gonna become of me fantasy wise, because nothing's stopping it. I've started 3 different fantasy books, or picked them up because I already had started them, and I just can't get into them at all. I started this book on my Kindle that's been circulating on TikTok, and I ordered a physical copy, so I guess you guys have turning it because I have no self-control. And it's about vampires, and they got me there. And you know, I was trying to get FOMO because I was like, you know, when everyone's talking about a book and you just like haven't heard about it, haven't started it, don't know anything about it, and you're like, why is everyone liking this book so much? So I had terrible FOMO, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting the book. Started reading it, and it's actually pretty good so far. Pages in, but like I like the prologue and all that. That's what we're gonna do right now, I guess. finally got in the mail, and it is huge. I wasn't expecting it to be this big. It's like really, I don't know, it kind of feels like a textbook, honestly. And it's about 500 pages almost. It's kind of funny how quick we just like jump into committed to reading a 500 page book when it comes to fantasy. I'm really excited. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only on page like 20. I'm probably gonna switch between this and my Kindle because I do read faster on my Kindle. This reading fantasy for a week is probably gonna go over a week, honestly. There's no way I can read a lot of fantasy books in a week. I've become kind of a slow reader lately, and yeah, we're just gonna read. I'm really tired. I just made a coffee. I haven't even taken a sip yet, so I sound so tired, but I'm gonna read and chill for a bit. Is all kinds of broken right now, but I finished The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Brabant, and I'm obsessed. I gave it 5 stars, which usually, you know, I feel like I should wait a few minutes or a few days before I just like jump and read a book. Ending, I thought it was gonna be like a 4-star, but then the ending kind of got me. I'm gonna take this now. I ended up finishing it on my Kindle. Got me, and it was a pretty good freaking fantasy book. I'm in my fantasy era, okay, and that's why I'm filming this video, because that's all I've been craving reading, to the point where like I'm reading The Happy Place by Emily Henry for another vlog, and I took a break from it and I'm back to reading fantasy because that's exactly what I'm craving right now. Order book number 2. I just don't think we're gonna read it in this vlog because I want to kind of wrap it up. So I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. Loved the entire thing. I didn't even think I was gonna like the whole Hunger Games situation and the politics of it, but I ended up loving it, and I highly recommend. I'm gonna give more details at the end of the video. So I think in order to kind of wrap it up, and because I'm in a vampire mood, I'm gonna try to finish King of Battle and Blood. I'm over halfway, so I could definitely just finish this today, potentially. But like I said, I'm also filming another vlog where I'm reading Emily Henry books, so we'll see the feeling. But I'm taking both of these to work so I can read during my break, and we'll see which one I end up picking. But yeah, this one, I don't think I read you guys the description ever. For this one, it says, Lara considers her wedding day to be her dead day. To the end of years-long war and protests the people of her kingdom, she used to marry the vampire king Adrian Alexander Vasiliev and kill him. But her assassination attempt is thwarted, and Adrian warns that if Isolde tries to kill him again, he'll raise her as the undead. Faced with the possibility of becoming the thing she hates the most, Isolde seeks other ways to defy him and survive the violence and political machinations of Adrian's brutal vampire court. And there's like a whole other description, but that's what this one's about. The whole vampire king situation going on. So we're gonna be reading this next, and I think that's gonna be the end of the video once I'm done with this. Hello again. The noise that I made is because I had to pick up this book again, and I had to touch it, and it brings me a lot of pain. It's time to talk about what went down when I tried reading fantasy books for a week. I read a total of 3 books. I have no idea how much updates I gave you guys. I'm terrible at reading vlogs, and this is me trying. I literally just uploaded a reading vlog. I'm doing another one. It's been chaos brain when it comes to reading, gathering my thoughts about books. Maybe I should start making notes. I don't know. Just kind of do a rundown. These are the 3 books that I ended up finishing. We've got Heartless, we've got The Serpent, The Wings of Night, and we've got King of Battle and Blood. With the first book that I finished for this video, which is Heartless. Listen, up close and personal, okay? Drop what you're doing right now. Get this book, read it. This book might be the best fantasy book / fantasy retelling I have ever read. To the point where I went into like a massive reading slump, and I was like mildly depressed when I finished this because it was just so deep, but then it leaves you feeling kind of empty. So I'm a little too close and you guys are probably getting freaked out. It's a prequel to Alice in Wonderland, meaning that this story is supposed to take place before Alice in Wonderland books or stories take place, and that's all I'm gonna say. Go into it blindly. Don't make the mistake I made. I kind of read about it a little bit too much before I read it. This is the best fantasy book I've read in a very long time. The best overall. If you like Once Upon a Broken Heart, read this. This book was all over my FYP and all over my Instagram and all over my YouTube channel. So you know me, I was feeling left out, so I had to get this book. It's about this vampire king that adopts this human girl, and then there is this game like the Hunger Games, and they must just kind of go at it and fight. And there's only supposed to be one survivor. There's some romance in this. It is spicy. You guys have been asking for age rating. This is not for a younger audience. I think the second book is actually even worse. So if you're under 18, I don't know, don't read this. They're actually, both of them were 5-star reads, which I have to maybe consider my ratings, because there's no way that if this is a 5-star read, this is a 5-star read. So I'm gonna have to do some thinking about that. See, on the whole vampire mood that I was in, I decided to read finish King of Battle and Blood, because I was already like over halfway done with it. And I give this book, I believe it was like 4 out of 5 stars. I'm still considering my rating though, because this is not a great book. It was entertaining. If you want almost like a fantasy palette cleanser and you don't want to dive into a very politics heavy fantasy book, then read this. A lot of criticism that I've seen this book has gotten on Goodreads is that there's really not much going on besides the romance. Like, I don't get a lot of the politics of fantasy books and stuff like that, which I used to hate, but now I feel like it's needed in order for the fantasy series to be good. With that being said, I liked it and I rated it kind of high, and I'm still kind of overthinking my rating for this book, but it's not book number 1 of a series that makes me want to immediately pick up book number 2. So this is gonna kind of take a step back, and if I'm ever just feeling reading a really light and mild fantasy book, then I'll be picking up book number 2. There is some construction or stuff outside my window and I have no control over it, so I do apologize for the noise. I've never read so much fantasy back to back. My conclusion is that I think I'm a fantasy girly. I'm kind of obsessed with fantasy at the moment, and I'm taking a small break from it because I don't want to become sick of it like I did with thrillers. Like, I was just reading a lot of thrillers, then I was just like sick of it. So I'm taking a small step back and reading some like fluffy romances. That's what went down. It's a very disorganized video. I'm still deciding if I want to include some footage from when I attempted to read fantasy for a week a month ago, even longer than that. With that being said, we've come to the end of this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Go pick up Heartless. If you take anything from this video, let it be that. Go read Heartless. It's okay, best book ever. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys.